Okay, today we're going to go ahead and do our sixth video on the Hornady LNL Progressive press. And today what we're going to do is we're going to go over how to mount the press, okay? So far, the first 5 videos have been pretty successful. I've had a lot of good compliments. But some of the compliments are, I've had some of the guys asking me if I would do a video and show them how I mount my press. So, hey, I'm always up for a good challenge, so I say let's do it. Okay, before I show you how to mount this press, first I want to talk bench talk, okay? Those coincide together, okay? A lot of guys, when guys are building a bench, in our mind, the first thing we want to do is we want to build the most heavy-duty bench we can possibly build. And that's great. That's fine. But a lot of guys, what they end up doing, they end up using these big 4x4 poles, and they end up making this thing strong enough to hold an elephant, but there's just one thing they forget to do, okay? Let me show you what that is. Let's talk a little bench talk for a moment. The whole trick to making your scales measure more accurately, one thing to make your presses work more accurately, is getting your bench to have as little vibration as possible, okay? Movement is acceptable, vibration isn't, okay? So the trick to cutting down your vibration is to building your bench strong enough that you can put enough weight on the bottom that it anchors it, okay? Now, I've got this cleared out just to make the video here. These shelves are 2 feet deep, okay? The front of these 2x4s are bolted with carriage bolts, okay? And just so you know, you don't put the carriage bolts in until the entire bench is built. And in other words, you build the bench, you build everything square, and then you come along and you pre-drill all of your holes where you want them, okay? All the way down the bench into all the legs, and then you put your carriage bolts in. And before you snug them up, you make sure that your legs are all square, and you cinch them down. That's the last thing you do on the bench, on this reloading bench. Okay? So, we have the front 2x4 fully fastened onto the front 2x4s. But now, we come here and we look at the back 2x4. Okay? This is probably the most important thing you can do to a bench to make it anchor better, so it doesn't vibrate. This 2x4 is completely resting on the foundation of the garage, okay? You'll never be able to measure the amount of weight this could hold, okay? It's a tremendous amount of weight. Now, let me show you under here. If you look under there, you can see the leg supports that I have going down the center of that bench. Okay, so what I've done is I've built the bottom to where I can stack a tremendous amount of weight. Okay, what we do is we put our canned goods, anything canned, anything heavy on the bottom. Now, the top isn't built for a lot of weight, but because the 2x4s, all 3 of the 2x4s are screwed into the wall, they can hold a ton of weight. So, okay, and with the front of the 2x4s with the carriage bolt, you're going to get quite a bit of weight on that middle shelf, but you're not going to get the amount of weight on it that the bottom shelf holds, and it's the bottom shelf that's going to anchor your entire bench. So, if you're going to build a stout bench, it's okay to overbuild it, but make sure you build the bottom to where you can put a lot of weight and anchor it down. That's the trick. Okay, just to give you an idea, on this bench, I've got those 460 heads, 2 5-gallon buckets, those yellow buckets there, solid full of lead. This 3-gallon bucket, 2.5-gallon buckets full of lead. Those cardboard boxes right there are all lead. Okay, soda pop flats full of lead. Ammunition over here, and that shelf isn't even showing signs of weakness. Okay, that's how you want to build it. Now, I'm not saying you have to have that kind of weight, okay, but this kind of weight with canned goods on the bottom, that's what's going to anchor your entire bench, okay? So when you build your bench, build it that you in a way that you can fasten it to the wall and put a ton of weight on the bottom, okay? So now let's come back up here and let me get my camera set up so we can finish the last part of this video. There we go. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to pretend that we don't have any holes drilled here, okay? And you can see where my press was mounted, okay? So we're going to pretend there's no holes there. First of all, on this press, I'm going to roll it over, and I want to show you what the bottom looks like, okay? The bottom here, as you can see, from this line forward has been milled down, okay? This is the portion of the press that's going to rest on your bench, okay? Now, just so you know, this little nut, this inset there, that's what holds your cam wire, okay? So if you ever bend your cam wire, you basically have to just undo your reloading press to get to that, swap it in, get the cam wire set up, tighten it down, and rebolt your press back down. It's that simple, okay? So with that in mind, this is how you mount your press. Let me get the camera set up. You're going to grab your press, and you need to be really careful, and I'll tell you why. Because you have moving parts, and you don't want to get your hand stuck in here and pull back on this handle and smash your hand, okay? So just be real careful with that. First thing you want to do is you want to run the press up to where you want to mount it, okay? And you just run it up till you feel that little milled edge hit the edge of your bench, okay? And then at that point, what you want to do is just kind of lean into this with your body, take a punch, center it, tap it with your hammer in each hole. So now you have your holes centered. You want them as centered as you can get them. Okay, no sloppy work, and just, you know, take your time, you'll get it. So then once you have your holes drilled, you want to get a thin drill bit, and you want to just go ahead and run your pilot holes where you tapped it, okay? And then you want to take a 1/2 inch drill bit and just go ahead and punch your holes through there. Just punch them right through. Then what you want to do is you want to wipe the bench, okay? Get all the shavings off, and at this point you're going to go ahead and pull the press back over, being careful, don't smash your hand. Got lots of moving parts. And you want to take your bolts. Now I have 2 bolts, and they're 1/2 inch bolts. They're 1/2 inch diameter, but they're 2.5 inches in length. I'll tell you right now, the problem with my bolts is this. On my bench, I have 2 pieces of wood on the top. The top is a piece of 3/4 inch plywood. The bottom is a piece of 3/4 inch chipboard. By the time I go through the deck of the press, okay, and I go through my 2 pieces of plywood, I have just enough room to get the nut on. So I would advise you, when you buy, if you're going to have the top of your press anything like mine, where you have 2 pieces of 3/4 inch plywood, go with 3/4 or 3 inch bolts, okay? Get them in 3 inch lengths. Now, I'm going to move the camera just a little closer so you can see this. On this side over here, what I have is I have the bolt, okay, and I have 2 flat washers, okay. What you're going to do is you're going to run the bolt with the 2 flat washers into the hole you drilled, but now you're going to take this bracket that's going to hold your plastic bin, and you're going to run this portion of the bracket in between the 2 washers, okay, just like that. You see that there? And then you're going to go ahead and push that bolt head down all the way onto there. Now at this point, go ahead and run the nut up onto the bottom of this bolt, okay, the 2.5 inch bolt. Run it on up there. Now go ahead and Get you a 3/4 inch deep socket, get you an extension, get your socket onto there, and now you might not be able to get the box into the wrench onto the bolt head, so just put the open in like that, start ratcheting away. Get it good and tight. Now, I because these for me, because my bolts are only 2.5 inches in length, and they're not 3-inch bolts, I can't put lock washers on the bottom. But to be honest with you, oh my gosh, what, 10,000 plus rounds on this press, it's never come loose on me. So, if you want to run the lock washers, you can, but you don't need them. It's not going to come loose. You muscle this on the way it should, and you're going to be just fine. So there we go. Just let that wrench slide over, and it'll hold itself against that little bracket. You can tighten it up. There we go. We're done. There. Voila. Just like that, guys. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over with you really quick on how I position a press, okay? So when you're reloading, you have room, and you're not cramped for space. You'll see that on my press, I have roughly, hang on guys, sorry, 18 inches, okay, of room from here to here. And that 18 inches is going to allow me to get my bullets, and it's going to allow me to get a couple of loading blocks in there, okay? On this side of my press, I really don't care what room I have. I don't work from this side of my press because my handle's here, I'm working over here, okay? Same with this press, because my handle's here, I'm working over here. And if you see, I have roughly, I got a little more. This is my single stage press. My single stage press, I give myself about 6 inches more room, okay? And I also give myself about 6 inches more room because I'm between two presses. So if I need to come in here and work on a gun, I've got a little more room, okay? And then let me move some things over here, guys. Kind of show you how I got this stuff set up. I got all this garbage in the way. Now, from this press here over to here, I have roughly 2 feet, okay? Now, if you look on the right side of this press, I don't have any room. That really doesn't matter because I don't work to the right of my press. I work to the left of my press, okay? So I'm going to be able to get, my bullet, my brass, and my finished cartridges over here, and it gives me room, okay? So when you're mounting your LNL, my preference is about 18 inches of room onto the left side. If you have the room to go 24 inches, that's even better, okay? So that's the end of my video. I hope that helped. And this has been fun. I got on YouTube today, and the guy threw me a question and said, "Hey, would you show me how you mount your press onto your reloading bench?" And I thought, that's the third guy that's asked that. So, hey, I'm game. I'm open for it. So from here out, if you guys have any questions, you get on YouTube or you're on the gun forum and you have a question, shoot me a question. If I can throw a video together and help you out, hey, I'm all for that. I'm up for a good challenge. So, okay, until next time, remember, keep your powder dry, keep your primers dry. One last thing, okay? One last thing is be careful when you're mounting these presses, okay? Because when this is coming up, okay, you get your finger stuck in there, you're gonna rip them off. That press shows absolutely no mercy in ripping fingers off. Okay, all these. Okay, you get your finger up in there when you're moving this press around off the bench, and this handle goes down, you're gonna know it. It's not a bad thing really to wire tie that. If you want to wire tie it or wire tie that while you're mounting them. When we do the basic reloading, I'll go over and show you how I set up the Hornady Classic cast press. So it's just such a fabulous press, and we're gonna start getting into the basic reloading, okay? And they're gonna be really good videos. So keep watching out for those. It's gonna take me a few weeks to get those started, but when they come out, they're gonna be really good videos. If you know someone that's beginning reloading, or been reloading for a while and they want to learn more, have them watch my videos. It's just going to be the basics. So, okay, with that said, end of the video. Thank you very much, and I hope this helps. You guys have a good day, and God bless. Bye-bye.